Namaskar students. Hope you are hale and hearty, taking care of your health and your studies. My name is Jyotsna and I am from Chandigarh Education Department. Today we will discuss some more facts about democracy. Now, just giving you a quick revision, what is democracy? Democracy is a form of government which focuses entirely on people. It is a government of the people, for the people and by the people. Let's discuss further the elements of a democratic government. Yes, that's the name of the chapter number 4 of your grade 6 book, Social and Political Life. So let's do the key elements of democratic government. So let's see what is democracy. Democracy is not merely a form of government. It is also a form of state as well as a society. It is closely associated with participation, competition, civil and political liberties. It is actually the order of a society. Democracy is defined as a form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, usually involving periodic free elections. It defines as government by the people in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or by their elected agents under a free electoral system. The word democracy itself means rule by the people. A democracy is a system where people can change their rulers in a peaceful manner, and of government is given the right to rule because the people say it may. Government by the people, especially rule of the majority. A government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, usually involving periodically held free elections, as we said earlier also. A political unit that has a democratic government. The term democracy comes from the Greek word demokratia, which means rule of the people. It was coined from two words, demos, that means people, and kratos, that refers to power. This is, in a democracy, the power rests with the people. In this chapter, we shall talk about South Africa. So let's take it up. South Africa is a country of several races. Earlier, the country was governed by apartheid laws. Apartheid means separation on basis of race. African people were divided into white African American, Indian and other races. According to the law, these races were not allowed to mingle with each other, live near each other, or even use common facilities. The African National Congress, a group of people, led the struggle against apartheid, and their most well known leader, Nelson Mandela, fought the apartheid system for several years. Finally, they succeeded, and in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. Let's take up the participation level in a democratic setup. Why do we have regular elections? It was already discussed in an earlier chapter that people make decisions in a democracy. People elect leaders to represent them via elections. These leaders can also take decisions on behalf of the people. It is believed that these representatives will keep in mind the voices and the interest of the people. Every government is elected for a fixed period in India. It is for 5 years, and every government that is elected is allowed to stay in power for only that period. However, if they want to continue to be in power, they will have to be re-elected by the people. And if they lose their majority at any point in time in those 5 years, there shall be fresh elections at the earliest. In this way, regular elections limit the power of the government. So, there are other ways of participating as well. Which are these? Elections are held once every 5 years. Besides voting, people can participate in the process of government by taking an interest in its operations and criticizing it when required. For example, in August 2005, when the ruling government of the time increased the money people had to pay for the electricity, they expressed their disapproval very sharply by taking out rallies and organizing a signature campaign. Even though the government tried to explain and defend their decision, they finally listened to the people's opinion and withdrew the increase. If a country's people are alert and interested in how the country is run, the democratic character of the government of the country will be stronger. So, the next time we see a rally winding through the streets of our cities and towns or villages, we should pause to find out what the rally is about, who is participating in it, and what they are protesting about. This will help to give us a sense of how our governments work. While it is true that democracy allows the people to participate, it is not all the section of people who are actually able to do so. Finding another way to participate, people organize themselves into social movements that seek to challenge the government and its functioning. Members of the minority community like the Dalit, Adivasi, women, and other often participate in this manner. If the people of a country are alert and interested in how the country is run, then the democratic character of the government is expected to be stronger. But we always need to resolve certain conflicts. It is seen that conflicts can lead to violence and death when one group decides that it is all right to use force to prevent the other group from protesting. Conflicts arise when people of varied cultures, religions, regions, or economic backgrounds do not get along with each other, or when some among them feel they are being discriminated against. People may use violent methods to settle their differences, leading to fear and tensions among others living in an area. The government is responsible for resolving conflicts. Religious processions and celebrations also lead to conflicts sometimes. For example, the route a procession takes may lead to a conflict. The government, particularly the police, play an important role in getting representatives of concerned communities to meet and try and arrive at a solution. Nevertheless, there is also fear that violence may erupt, with people throwing stones or trying to disrupt the procession. The police is in charge of ensuring that violence does not take place. Meanwhile, rivers too can become a source of conflict between states if it begins in one state, flows through another, and ends in a third. Sharing of river water between different states that the river goes through can become an issue of conflict. An example is given like in Kaveri water dispute that broke out between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu is an example. The origin of a legal dispute over Kaveri water dates back to 1892, and by the late 1960s, both states and central government began to realize the gravity of situation as the 50-year run of the 1924 agreement was soon coming to an end. The water stored in Krishna Raj Sagar Dam in Karnataka was used for irrigating a number of districts and for meeting the needs of the city of Bengaluru. At the same time, the water stored in Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu was used for crops grown in the delta region of that state. A conflict arose because both dams are on the same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu could only be filled up if the water is released from the upstream one located in Karnataka, leading to power scarcity in one state, as both states can get as much water as they need for people in their states. This leads to conflict. The central government has to step in to see that a fair distribution is worked out for both the states. Let's talk about equality and justice. The key idea of a democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice, which are inseparable. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. They were earlier denied education, transport, or medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. Dr. Ambedkar and many others like him realized that such practices must not continue and justice can only be achieved when people are treated equally. The government also recognizes this and makes special provisions for groups within societies that are unequal. So, with this, we have certain points to look up to. Like, democracy is the most successful political idea in the world. Democracy allows ordinary people a decisive say in who governs a country and how they govern it. It is based on a system of government by all citizens of a country, typically exercised through elected representatives. The concept of democracy is broad and diverse. Every country has a unique democratic system, and countries will therefore be differently democratic. Although there are other aspects to democracy, we look at six key features. When these six main features are present, it indicates a strong democracy. They are respect for basic human rights, a multi party system paired with political tolerance, a democratic voting system, respect for the rule of law, democratic governance, and citizen participation. When we look at India with all these features around it, we feel very proud in calling ourselves a democratic setup true to its soul. I sincerely hope that today's session was fruitful for you. Let's try to analyze what we have extracted out of today's session. On your screens, you have certain statements which are incomplete, so let's fill the blanks. African people were divided into white, black, Indian, and colored races. Apartheid means separation on the basis of race. Non-whites were not allowed to vote. The African National Congress led the struggle against apartheid. Through voting in elections, people elect leaders to represent them. Elected representatives take decision on the behalf of the people. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. So we have certain statements on our screens. Let's see if they are true or false. Nelson Mandela fought the apartheid system for several years. It is very true. Religious processions and celebrations can sometimes lead to conflicts. True. In 1984, South Africa became a democratic country. It is false. In our society, there is a general tendency to value and care for the girl child more than the boy child. I'm afraid that is false. So, now on your screen you will have a question, and along with that you will have 4 options to it. So, let's try to analyze it. How were people of South Africa divided before independence? White people, black people, colored races, all of these. Option D, which includes all of these, is the correct option. So, what was the state of ambulances for the black people in South Africa? They were fully equipped, not equipped, both A and B, none of these. Yes, the state of ambulances were not equipped for black people in South Africa. What is the official language of South Africa? Is it Zulu, Hindi, Sanskrit, or English? Yes, the official language of South Africa is Zulu. Moving on, who was the leader of African National Congress? Was it Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, or Bill Clinton? The leader of African National Congress was Nelson Mandela. When did Africa become a democratic country? 1947, 1948, 1984, or 1994? Africa became a democratic country in 1994. I sincerely hope that today's session was fruitful for you. Let's try to analyze what we have extracted out of today's session. India is known globally for being a democratic country. After today's session, you must have learnt the challenges which are faced by a democratic government. We are proud to be Indians. We'll be back with many more videos. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep studying. Namaskar.